In version 1.1, we are going to be getting two brand new 5-star units, one of them being Luocha and the other being Silverwolf. Now, of course, Luocha and Silverwolf are already a high value target for so many different people when it comes to their accounts, just because they both add a certain role that, you know, is basically universally needed and loved, which is a healer and a debuffer supportive unit. You know, anything that you want to say with Silverwolf, because she just has so much in her kit. But today we are going to be talking about Silverwolf and her kit and why she's going to be super strong. And of course, I want to go ahead and get the disclaimer out of the way. If you don't think you're going to enjoy Silverwolf, if you don't want Silverwolf, and you're seeing everybody say you must summon for Silverwolf, don't do it if you don't want to. Nothing is worse than having a character that you don't want, that you don't need, that you don't see yourself having fun with, if you're going to be spending your jades, your money, and not enjoy it. So don't summon for peer pressure. Summon if you think it's going to be fun for you or something that you want. But of course, let's go ahead and talk about Silverwolf and her kit and why she's going to be super freaking strong. But lastly, one more thing, make sure to leave a sub and a like on the video if you're enjoying the Honkai Star Rail content. I want to see that 80% to 90% of y'all that aren't sub before the end of the video, and I will be checking. But as I said before, let's go ahead and start talking about Silverwolf and her kit, which with her kit, what is not in her kit would be a better question because she just has so much. She's going to be applying so many different things to so many different enemies, and with her kit having something new, which is through her basic attack actually adding effects to enemies. This is something new. This is actually going to put a lot of value on her basic attack with, you know, wanting it to do damage, with adding effects on, which regenerating skill points, knowing when to use the basic attack. She's going to be offering a new type of playstyle and a new thought process that you might need to look forward to when playing with Silverwolf, because with her basic attack, she is going to be reducing defense, she's going to be reducing attack by the enemies, she's going to be doing a lot of stuff for you when it comes to damage mitigation or damage buffing, only through her basic attacks alone. So that is a really good thing to look at, that they're adding extra things to certain people's kits, especially with basic attacks, because most of the time it's just skill point regeneration and not something that you're going to see a lot of, not something that people prioritize for. But seeing that Silverwolf has these effects tied to her basic attack, we might see a new set of thought process or a new set of, you know, rotation that we're going to be seeing with how people use Silverwolf. Now, going ahead and talking about the meat of her kit, which is her skill, which I think everyone just wants Silverwolf for her skill just because it's so broken in itself, which this is going to change Honkai Star Rail for the future, especially for the people that pull for Silverwolf, which is being able to add any weakness to any character for whatever's on your team. Now, it is random, and I think this is going to push us into a certain type of meta, certain type of team type, and I will be talking about this in a quick second. But yes, say you have a full team of fire characters and Silverwolf. If the enemy doesn't have, you know, fire weakness, you have a really great chance at adding it onto the enemy. And with being able to add that fire weakness onto an enemy, you're going to be able to shred the shield with that team because everyone else is fire. You're going to be able to destroy the shield easily, stun them, do a lot of damage. There's just so many things you can do with Silverwolf with being able to add that weakness. Now, Silverwolf might be a little bit of a lower used character if you're going to stick with universal type teams, like using a lot of teams with how you have, you know, different element. You kind of want to stay within more of one certain element so that she's able to apply that weakness, so you can put that weakness on them and do a lot of damage to that shield. I do think she's going to be an amazing, and I mean amazing, matchup with Cele, just because yes, Silverwolf is already Quantum, so that's Quantum Break already. You have Cele, who's also Quantum Break, and if you don't have a character or an enemy that has Quantum Break on them or has that Quantum weakness, well, guess what? Silverwolf can quite literally add it. So Silverwolf is going to definitely be that brute force character where if you don't have a certain team ready for Memory of Chaos, if you don't have a certain element ready to be able to use for Memory of Chaos, well, Silverwolf is going to be like, okay, I got this, and turn that weakness onto that enemy and make it so much easier, make you able to brute force with any team that you possibly need to with Silverwolf. So yeah, Silverwolf by her skill alone is already a very strong unit, but she still has her ult as well, which is going to be reducing the defense and doing a great amount of damage with her ult as well. So giving you that damage mitigation with reducing attack, giving you that damage increase with shredding defense. Silverwolf just has a lot to her kit, a crazy amount to her kit actually. she is going to be pushing us towards a certain type of style of gameplay, and I do think that Hoyoverse has already been planning this for a very long time. You can already see a lot of different hints of this and a lot of different characters. Not only do we have Cele and Silverwolf who are going to be Quantum as well, we also have Fu Xuan who's already on the wiki for preservation. So we already see the imaginary, nope, that's another thing. We already see the Quantum team getting fleshed out and being a full team with different roles. Imaginary getting the same thing. Welt is getting a sub DPS or DPS treatment, while Luocha is going to be the healer and Yukong is going to be the support character for Imaginary. So with that said, and also Pella having Ice Shred with Asta having fire damage increase for her allies, there's just a lot of hints in this game that shows us that we are going to be heading into a different meta, which is going to be a mono style type team meta, which is not something we're really used to when it comes to Hoyoverse games, because certain games like Genshin Impact, we have reactions, we use a lot of different elements, and now in Honkai Impact we're actually getting more into the point where we need multiple different elements on the same team. We used to be mono style. So Silverwolf, as I said before, very strong, allow you to brute force anything, adding a lot of value to your team just by having her on there, having, you know, the option to brute force things, not have to worry about the weakness. She's going to be making everything in the overworld and story related brain dead, in all honesty, just because they're not hard anyway, and just adding on weakness, adding on a super amount of damage with Silverwolf by herself, being able to shield break infinitely just because you can add weakness no matter what, as long as you have your skill point, of course. And then if you don't have a skill point, guess what, Silverwolf still gets utility just because she can basic attack and add those effects onto enemies. I'm very excited for Silverwolf because I do think she's going to be changing the game, especially with the other 1.1 characters just as Luocha and Yukong. Luocha being a crazy healer, being able to stand by heal without using skill points, being able to do all of these things, strip buffs, cleanse, all of that within his kit. Same with Yukong, being able to raise crit damage, crit rate, attack, being able to speed in the overall, which is a really good resource or value to have as a character in their utility, to be able to make overworld exploration, to be able to make the game very comfortable, very easy and smooth to use. There's just a lot of value in version 1.1. I do think it's going to be a very hard decision on who to pick. I do think still Luocha is the better pick in terms of banner when it comes to value, but overall, no matter who you summon for, Silverwolf or Luocha, you are still going to end up with a very good character, with a very strong character, and definitely a character that's going to shake up tier lists, shake up the best teams in the game, because there will be a lot of characters that are getting replaced. There will be a lot of characters that are going to get thrown down in the tier list because of these characters existing, especially Silverwolf and Luocha. So I do have a video for Yukong and Luocha if you are very excited for those characters, so make sure to go look at those videos once we're done with this one pretty much. But in all honesty, I do just want to say I want to see what they do with these characters. I want to see what they do with the enemies coming out, just because having these characters as strong as they are in version 1.1 of the game, what are these characters or what are these enemies going to look like, to the point where these characters aren't just going to dumpster on every single content or every single piece of battle of whatever we're going to have in this game. I'm super excited to see what we're going to get pushed into. I do think mono style teams will be coming out very soon, with how they're fleshing out a lot of these elements and with all the roles being filled up very quickly when it comes to having them on a team, having all these roles filled up with all the different elements, fleshing out the quantum and the imaginary element with these new releases with Cele, with Silverwolf, with Yukong, Luocha. There's just a lot happening right now very quickly, and we're gonna have to adjust super fast. So make sure to leave a sub and a like if you're going to be excited for version 1.1. I will be covering all the latest news, trying to get all the guides out for all these characters super quickly, especially Silverwolf. So if you are excited for Silverwolf, then you might want to leave a sub, put that bell notification on, everything, because I will have her maxed out day one for sure. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll let you end the video. See y'all in the next one, and peace.